Alright, so I just want to give everybody a quick walk around of Cessna 2800 Foxtrot, 1966 Cessna Skylane 182J model. So just got back from a little flight. You can see the green accent paints are not in bad shape. They still have a little bit of shine to them. But the white is pretty dull and it's peeling off in some areas and like around the spinner here. So like I was saying in flight, this plane was acquired in March. I've been talking to the owner since late December on purchasing it. Had a very extensive annual this year, and the airplane made it to Ohio in early March, I think March 9th, March 10th, something like that. And then I've flown it about maybe 10 hours in the last couple months, just with the coronavirus. Haven't left the state of Ohio yet, but you can see it has two LED lights, landing light and taxi light, and it's got wingtip strobes. One of the things that got done during this annual this year was replacement flap skin for the left wing and repainted. And actually all the parts that got replaced are in this box here. So flap skin, had a new left wing bladder, rear bulkhead. So several ADs are now no longer valid on this airplane. But you can see I put some new in numbers on the tail just to make it a little sportier. Canadian flag, US flag, kind of honoring my family and my wife. She's from Canada. And got the sky beacon, or the tail beacon, UAvionics tail beacon, ADSB out. And you can see the rear is all painted this kind of lime green color. Maybe it's not lime green, but it's kind of a 1960s green with a dark green, kind of a Kelly green below it. And has all the wheel pants on it. Actually, one of the things that I recently did was fix the nose wheel pant. The fiberglass was broken around that upper mount where the tow bar attaches. So I fixed that, got it back on, and noticed in the process of putting it back on, the other side now is a little bit cracked, but it's fine. I can take it apart and fix it and repaint it again. It was kind of a bear to put it on. The other thing that was done during the annual was the Macaulay prop was taken off and sent off to a prop shop in Washington State, fully torn down and rebuilt. All the seals, corrosion was fixed, zeroed out in terms of time, and repainted. Unfortunately, the paint on props doesn't hold up in flight for very long, but it's still in good shape, runs good, engine's really smooth. Engine has had both magnetos, the carburetor, starter, voltage regulator, and the vacuum pump all replaced here in the last year. Engine's got about 650 hours on it. Total time on the airframe's about 4,600. And looking forward to taking this on some cross countries. It has the long range tanks, so 79 gallons total fuel. Actually pretty comfortable inside. Right now you'll notice the left passenger seat, front passenger seat is out. Just took that out today. My wife and I are going to do some upholstery on this plane, and she said it'd be easier to have it at home and work on it there. So take the stop out, front and back, and then the seat comes out pretty easily. The panel, it's a mix of 1980s and 1990s and early 2000s technology, but go ahead and fire it up. You can see I got my iPad on the yoke. I've got my Stratix up on the dash panel. Have a Dynon D3 artificial horizon. Got a King GPS, King KT76C transponder. Everything was IFR certified. Pitot-static system was updated here recently. 2 King KX155 radios, they both work. One of them's got a glide slope localizer, and then the bottom one's just a localizer. Also have a DME, which still works. You can find the on switch here for it. And then the audio panel works. It's not the greatest, but it works. You got your standard manifold pressure, RPM gauge, suction gauge, EGT over here. And then this Stavtron is outside air temperature in Fahrenheit, Celsius, and then density, altitude, pressure, altitude, and then voltage. And then on the far side, this crazy old Cessna layout, the non-traditional layout. Remove the keys here. So this is something that's on my summer to-do list. I'm gonna make a new panel overlay and wrap it in carbon fiber vinyl. And I've got a attitude indicator that's a little bit more new, and then I think I can actually integrate this unit into that slot and put the backup primary attitude indicator as a backup somewhere else. But yeah, you can see typical 182 controls. You got carb heat, throttle, which controls the manifold pressure, prop RPM, mixture control. We've got electric flaps, but it's a flap lever, so you have to hold it down and count, and there's a indicator for 10, 20, 30, 40 degrees of flaps. I've got my 12 volt USB adapter, cabin air, cabin heat, and then there's a defrost lever up there. It's got pitot heat, defrost, so and carb heat, so it's got some anti-icing components, but not quite into non-icing. Obviously there's no autopilot on this plane. Oddly enough, when it was built, there was a Cessna autopilot in it, and then like 2 years later, in the late 60s, they removed the autopilot for who knows what reason. And you can see the tank selector, so 39 gallons left, 39 gallons right, so 70, I guess 78 gallons instead of 79. The back seats, you can see, are fairly spacious. And then there's a full cargo area back here with the door from the outside. So this is a real 4-seat airplane. The interior is still in fair shape, but the seats they've been replaced once. The upholstery's been replaced once, and they've got tears everywhere. There were these sheepskin covers on them, and we're going to go ahead and just update it. I might do some new plastics, and then obviously the side panels could use updating, and the carpet updated as well. And then eventually we'll get to the exterior and do the paint. So, hope you enjoyed.